Okay, so check this out. So we pulled into Portland, Oregon last night, and we checked in a hotel, and we reached out to a couple of friends that said, look us up when you get here. So we're going to do that here in a little bit. Angie Parker and Sarah Adams. But here's the interesting thing. So what happened was, we're staying in this hotel, and this guy by the name of Greg Sullivan started coming on to our shows about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he hits me up and he says, we're going to be at the airport tomorrow morning, and I'm an American, I live in Japan, and I'm over here with a group of people from Japan, and we just got back from James Gillian's ranch at Mount Adams, and went to look at the starships, and then we're at the Portland airport this morning. So he says, can you meet with me? And I said, yeah. So me and Morgan knew, as everything else that happens on this trip since August the 8th, when we got here on the mainland, everything just falls into place. So we came over to the airport, we're about to sit down with him, and in true Soulogy style, spontaneously, we're going to sit down with Greg Sullivan and 3 of his friends from Japan who don't speak English. But yeah, we're just going to chit chat for a little bit. Okay? Let me turn the camera around. Okay, we're on. All right. So this is Greg Sullivan.
Nice to meet you. This coming right through the ethers into real world meetings.
So this is Greg Sullivan, and these are his friends. Is it okay?
Yeah.
These are his friends. This is a twin flame couple that run a healing center in Japan. She's very Pleiadian.
Yeah, Kimie. This is Kimie.
And this
is Syrian. She's a university teacher.
Yeah, university teacher.
Yuriko Isada.
Okay.
Yuriko.
So
she speaks English well. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. Not enough to talk, huh?
I'm so shy.
Oh, you're shy. Wait a minute. Here we go. No. So you guys. Okay. So how did you end up in Japan?
I went to Japan in 2003 as a backpacker. I was originally a sound engineer and went to college in New York. And I was in New Zealand for a while, just backpacking around. And then some friends were teaching in, I wanted to work and live abroad teaching English, and some friends and I were guided to Japan. So I basically went there and just stayed on. And I had tons of what I now know to be soul family reunions. So it was like a second home. I didn't feel like I was in a foreign country. Nonetheless, some such a far removed culture. So I had one soul connection after another, and that created a foundation for me to learn the language and the culture. So I quickly fell into an art gallery and was collaborating with artists. That was one of the reasons why I went there too. So yeah, it was just all like, I kind of tell people I had a reservation. There was a table with my name on the reservation card already when I went there.
So you live in Okinawa? They live in Okinawa.
They live in Okinawa. That's the Hawaii of Japan. Yeah, and I live in, we just moved back to Tokyo from Fukuoka, which is in western Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm now back in the big city, and I'm originally from New York, but yeah, so it's right now we're in Portland, and we just finished our 8th year. This is our 8th year of doing tours to the JCETI ranch at Mount Adams. So it was amazing timing that we could cross paths like this.
So you've been going to the JCETI ranch for 8 years, and so was there a point? I always ask this question on the shows.
Yeah.
Was there a point on a personal level when you woke up when you realized everything wasn't what we were told it was?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had quite a bit of input as a youngster, and even from junior high. I had been reading. I had a couple major pieces of literature, books that fell into my lap that were very eye-opening, and that included ET stuff and disclosure stuff as well. And basically, that laid the groundwork. So the knowledge was the first base for this awakening, and then it all peaked when I had that first contact night out at Mount Adams in 2007.
So what was that like? How did that?
It was completely serendipitous and orchestrated with many, hometown friends. I came back to the U.S. from Tokyo for a wedding. So, basically, I had just heard that name, Mount Adams, and Google Maps had just come out.
So was that was the first time you ever went there?
Yes,
Okay.
2007.
Okay, go ahead.
And then it was my last night before flying back to Japan, and basically I ended up being able to go alone, and without staying or really even meeting any of the staff. I had a personal experience there, and that was really my kind of the starseed switch. That was when everything that became after that was.
What do you mean you had a
initialized.
personal experience? You were alone?
I was pretty much alone. There was just a handful of local people there, and I had a very intimate and direct contact experience. Yeah.
Now,
which
was it telepathic, or did you actually see
very visual? Yeah, a lot
physical?
of craft.
Was there physicality to the?
Yeah, there was a lot of visual craft in the sky, and she has a projector wood. Yeah. And so there were several craft flying around. So in the span of 2 or 3 hours, we had 20 to 30 craft sightings, and they were responding to our conversation and flashing and everything. So it was quite amazing, the maneuvers they were doing.
Did you receive any telepathic communications from the starships?
I did not, but people right in front of me did.
Yeah.
And that was the first hurdle. So, okay, I confirmed that yes, this was real. And the download I got was that, these beings were everything but what we've been told ET was until now, especially in the X-Files and the scary stuff, the negative stuff. So that was one thing that really hit home as far as a feeling and a resonance. And also the other thing was that, but then the second thing was I have people right in front of me doing the telepathy, and that was the next hurdle. I couldn't understand how that would even be possible. So at the time I didn't know much about psi or remote viewing, or I knew telepathy was possible, but I didn't realize that it could be that people, including myself, that it was that accessible.
Wow.
So that process then took quite a while. So then I had another 3 years or so of this personal contact, which followed me back to Japan, and they were trying to keep me awake.
So you're saying that your encounters continued when you went to Japan?
Exactly.
And were your encounters similar? Starships in the sky, same kind of scenario?
Similar, yeah. Then they actually included broad daylight. When one of the key words I learned that first visit was about chemtrails.
Yeah.
And that you could see those in the daytime. And as I was watching them being laid down in the sky, the craft were flashing around the planes and around the chemtrails. So and then I was thinking it first started out as just that was my imagination, and then slowly they come in from the fringe and the periphery, and then they come slowly into focus.
Do they dissipate the chemtrails?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Have you we've talked about it more than that. We've had encounters with translucent and physical energies, beings.
Yeah. Yes.
Brothers, sisters, star family, whatever.
Yeah.
Have you had any encounters like that?
Oh, of course. And I know that it's always like a backwards calculation. Even when that first night in the field, there were beings. These other girls, even that first night in the field, I knew that those beings were standing there and they were with me. So I was able to reverse engineer my experience even from childhood after all that contact. And it's and that you realize that they're always with you. So
what do you mean?
You just become more aware.
What do you mean you reverse engineer? That sounds very interesting.
Well, I mean, I could then see that the very positive times in my life, and I was able to remember past sightings, like when I was really in a peak experience, and also I knew that the guides were giving me inspiration when I was doing my music stuff and things like that, and and arranging these soul meetings. They were guiding me through this whole timeline. So, and then on the same hand, I also had a lot of negative interference. So when I was imagining what if, those beings were really there. And that dealt with a lot of the negative rays too.
I can totally relate to your explanation, frequency-wise. So let me ask you this. This is cool. We're going to have a long-term relationship.
Definitely. I'm so excited.
So let me ask you this. Yeah, I'm serious. So after all of the experiences you've had, do you consider the ET, I'm not really big on that word, but the ET
Star Family,
brothers and
Galactic
sisters,
Family.
these aspects.
Yeah.
Do you see them as aspects of all of us, or the ones you're communicating with, even aspects of you?
Sure, yeah.
Or do you see them as separate beings, like you and I are sitting separately?
A little bit of both. Maybe both at the same time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they are definitely, they are individuated as, you know, and they have, we connect with many different guides, and and so over the years, those kind of characters, you have your main guides, there's teams of them, so your different teams, and some of them are incarnated as people around you, and they're living their life as a higher dimensional being at the same time, in kind of like a hibernation. And then there's other ones that, what we have happening now, actually, Todd, is that in personal sessions, we have people who have Star Family, who are literally the children they had as a Pleiadian or as a Syrian, and those guides are coming in on their ships and reconnecting. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. And then also we have the new ascended humans, and we have several people. We've had several episodes where people who pass from this life and go right up back onto a ship, or get picked up into their next incarnation by the people who are kind of rehabilitating them. So there's all these interesting new type of beings. The ascended human.
I love your detail to the galactic part of this. So many people like myself have had what I would call angelic experiences too. I've had both. I know some people have had one or the other, or both. What are your thoughts on that? Are the galactics the angelics?
Sure, I know there's all this, what they maybe call the spiritual hierarchy. I don't know if that word is so pertinent, but there's everything under the sun we've known about or heard about in mythology or spiritual new age and channeling. That's most of it is existing, but it's just a matter of what beings you have a contract with, or it seems to me from my perspective is that people have all of these relationships are kind of set in place. Yeah. And then once you really hit a certain level of frequency, then the guides will change, they'll swap out, or they're constantly pushing you to grow. So as far as angels, I was really honed in on the extraterrestrial stuff. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of experience with that.
Yeah, I understand.
I now know that to be definitely a certain higher up dimension of beings.
Ultimately we're all one. I'm just curious from your own personal experience.
Relating to the angelics, what you might call like the Brotherhood. I know someone on the show mentioned the GWB, Great White Brotherhood, and that group I recently in the last few years connected with via MAP, which is the Paralandria group from Virginia. Okay. The MAP Medical Assistance Program. Okay. And they call upon.
So you connected to the Great White Brotherhood?
Them, yes, and their touch is very different. They work with the elemental realm quite a bit, and MAP is an amazing energy work system. So I've gone.
This is amazing.
I've gone into that element.
This whole thing is amazing. You have to be on.
Hi Morgan, great to. But let me just give a quick comment. We've literally this meeting is so amazing because I don't really. You stop looking online for this stuff. And I write. I have 4 books out in Japan, and we have a whole community now there. It's almost 10 years since we started our program, but boom, you guys came in, and the guides. I've had 2 or 3 encounters like that in the last 2 years where YouTube, they use my wall, and all of a sudden something will be there that was never there before. Right. And so this was literally just within the last month.
How did you find Soulogy?
First I found, I believe it was Lisa's Transcendence Round. A friend of mine is going to Kauai this month, so that kind of theme came in. And just kind of randomly appeared on my YouTube. So then I found Soulogy, and I didn't realize. And then the quality and the character of the information and the people you're interviewing is right along with what we're feeling. So it was so exciting. And I'm hoping to kind of do connect with more people in the West. Yes. Because I've been quarantined in a way.
Yeah, we would like to connect with more people in Japan.
Yeah, we'd love to have you as there.
We need someone like you. Can you help us?
Oh, very, very welcome. Speak Japan, many spiritual things.
Yes. So, isn't that a beautiful couple? They're twin flames.
Please introduce yourself. What's your name?
I'm Satoru Fukui.
Satoru.
Kimie Fukui.
Kimie. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, their island, the place they live near, is it's used in the brochures. It's one of the classic Okinawan landscape shots.
Yeah.
There's a long bridge connecting to this small island. It's where we had our first contact work event in Okinawa.
Wow. So you're doing you're basically, you said it was JCETI,
Yeah,
which is Japan SETI.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, so you're very connected to.
I'm very connected to ECETI as well as Stephen Greer's project.
Oh, you are?
CE5. So that's the one that's like mobile. So
You are connected to Stephen Greer's project.
So
Yeah.
we were just in Arizona in May, and I was interviewed for his next film.
We should do another interview very soon.
Yes.
We can get into we'd love to hear more about his project
Yeah.
because Soulogy. Yes, Soulogy. Did you want to talk, honey? So, Soulogy's at a point now. We were just talking about this. Yesterday was 30 days we've been back.
Okay.
We've been on the mainland.
Okay, yeah.
From Kauai, as we were ordered to come here, like she was telling you.
Right.
And what's happening is we're starting to align with these conferences and events, and they're asking us, "Can you come?" So we're going to do some emceeing and some commentary, some interviews on stage, and we're going to broadcast everything. Some spiritual, conscious rap,
Nice.
So we're going to the music. So we're going to bring it all in,
Yeah, there you go.
and and so. But what we were talking about was that it seems like Soulogy has brought like the 99.99%.
Yeah.
Onto the camera, have a conversation in front of all our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And it's not people that are real well known.
Yeah.
And it's all about the real time intel that comes on a day-to-day
Hardcore
basis,
intel,
just like this right now.
Yes.
Okay, it's not even the words that we're exchanging, it's the energy and
yes.
being in front of each other.
Yeah.
But one of the things we were talking about was how it seems to be, it only makes sense that the disclosure community, the alt news community could merge with our energy and start to expand on that and integrate audiences. So I think it'd be cool if we could, have one or two or three more collaborations where we could talk about Stephen Greer. We can talk about a CD Ranch. We can talk about what you're doing, and you can even introduce us to other people.
Sure,
And we can have a Japanese version.
That'd be awesome.
You know what I mean? That would be very cool. So
you guys the stuff you're talking about is really on the cutting edge. So, and then we're in that nomadic light worker group. So I was on the road, and I went through the whole dark night of the soul, and I came back to the U.S. permanently, what I thought permanently, for a year and a half, and then I was pulled back. They used my personal life and everything. So this JCETI project is sort of like, I never knew it was going to happen. So very spontaneous.
So can you tell me what do you do now? Is everybody here part of the
They participated in my tour this time.
Okay.
But we've done collaboration events. Basically, I've gone all over Japan and doing the contact workshops where we make a contact outside.
How does that?
We've had amazing results.
I mean, really?
Mind blowing. Yeah.
How does that fit in with, like over here, people like us are not normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that work in Japan? You're already a fish out of water?
Yes, exactly. So that's the guys seem to use that. I'm like a walking PR billboard for space.
Do you guys get a lot of? Is there a lot of awareness about what you're doing in Japan?
There is. They had a big channeling boom at one time in the early '90s. So there's a whole spiritual field over there is very active, and we often talk about this, but it's quite commercial. So there's a lot of we're being used to clean that up as well. So we're mainly independent, but I've done projects with some of the publishers there, and it's sort of I could tell you guys and you'd understand, but most of that is we're like a human sponge to clean their darkness up and to transform the stuff that they weren't aware of. So that there's been some very powerful developments and collaborations in that, but really, we've done, we've had, in our contact events alone, nearly 5,000 participants over the 10 years. And
Wow.
we've done over 450 events all across Japan. And yeah, so I'm just getting ready.
Do you ever run into any problems over there?
No, it's amazing. And the lucky thing about that is
You guys
it's not,
don't have men in black over there?
not too much. Yeah, there is military surveillance, but yeah,
like Japan.
No, I just...
it's so childlike and welcoming there. And the greatest thing is you don't have police harassing you. There's no state park laws, so you can go anywhere at night.
Oh,
and,
really?
Don't get hassled at all. Yes, that's very.
How could we collaborate with you to expand awareness of what we're doing and vice versa?
Well, definitely. We're hoping to also have a. I've just started bringing over some people from the West to Japan, and some of that's happening this year in the fall. So next year is our 10th anniversary, and we're trying to put together some sort of big disclosure ascension event. So that would be amazing to have.
And you've written 4 books.
Yeah.
What are those books? Where can people find them?
I'm working on my first one in English. I have a chapter in a book called Paths to Contact. It's on Amazon. Paths to Contact is several people from all over the world who experienced that CE5 contact on their own. But my books in Japan, the first couple were discussion books with other people. And then the last one I did was my best one. It's called Hologram Mind. It's more in the ascension information, and I have like an strong Arcturian connection. So I've gotten more and more into the energy work and the healing. I also, one of my big mentors and inspirations is Lisa Renee from Energetic Synthesis. She's my soul sister, and I had dinner at her house when she lived in LA.
We'd love to get a show with her.
She's hard to. She definitely is not a major collaborator, but she is just. She is. I've been experiencing. I've been in tandem with her mail magazine for years.
Yeah.
And just mind-blowingly. So, and then I've been interpreting, experiencing the stuff that she's been talking about on my own path, and then transitioning to our community.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's very powerful. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, thank you.
I'm good.
Free refills.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the deal. And this time was I feel that as I was listening to your shows during this tour, I feel that like the New Earth word and the New Eden. I just feel what has been grounded into these portals and stargates is just it's so palpable. Mount Adams used to be very kind of wild, very rough and tumble, very masculine. I had a major shield around it. If you didn't have reason to be there, you couldn't get near it, as far as this spiritual stuff goes. And then, just recently, that has become a lot softer. And
I think the masculine is becoming a lot softer in all of us.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go much further because I want you to eat.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let me ask you this: so you've been exposed to the U.S. and to Japan, obviously. Do you think there's the same percentage of people that are in our level of insanity, or?
I didn't finish your question. I didn't answer all of your question. Yeah. So the answer is that people are very open-minded. They do in Japan. They have a lot of media. We've had a lot of bias in the television and stuff over the years. So people are getting over the fear factor. But the spiritual family who have studied all sorts of modalities and teachings until now, they have an easy transition into the higher dimensional and ET and ascension stuff, I think.
Wow.
But it is a whole nother level, and what we're doing is it's new and the same at the same time. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
very
exciting,
cool.
and Japan is it's a meet gathering place of so many amazing souls. So they have
Very cool.
It's an honor to be able to work there.
Well, it's an honor to sit down with you. I look forward to many future collaborations.
Yeah.
And your laugh, I look forward to more of that.
And today we can connect Shasta and
yes,
Adams.
we're gonna do that shortly. We're gonna connect Mount Adams and Mount Shasta shortly after, in a little bit. This is a beautiful divine conscious union. They're all over the world. All they have to do is be present and love each other, and then the whole world gains from it, right? Yes. So thank you very much. It's an honor. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you.
Very much an honor. And thank you everybody for joining us. Peace out.
Peace from Portland Airport.